Welcome everybody to another edition of Behind the Scenes Live. That's BTS Live for short, episode number 24. And we call this episode the Nest Cam and IoT. And we'll get into what that is in a moment. A little departure for us, but still video related. Joining me as always, my partner in this endeavor, Mark Rogers. Hey Mark, how are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Excellent.
I love to see the sun shining after a few dismal weeks. We've got some sun shining up here in the Northeast. And also, you know, we talk about in front of the camera and behind the camera tips. I have a tip that I never really considered, but I just experienced it here in the last half hour. So free tip for everyone right here. As Marty knows, over the past couple years, I have been contacting college football coaches and trying to hit that sweet spot during the off season, typically after spring practice in April, before August camp hits in August, of course, for fall camp. And if you know anything about college football, you know that these guys are grinded out. I talked to somebody in close proximity to a college football coach this week who said basically he takes this college football coach in particular takes a July 4th mini vacation with his family and otherwise no days off the entire year. So these guys are hardcore serious. They're tough to track down, tough to get time with, and you have to obviously be credible to a certain extent to track these guys down. So this has been my endeavor each off season for about 3 years, and I've been pretty successful, more successful than I initially anticipated tracking down these college football coaches. I counted up about 15 that I've had on Mark Rogers TV on my YouTube channel in the last few years. But I did all that via email. What I did for the first time this morning was I went through my so I've contacted all these coaches again in the last week to 10 days.
Yep.
Is I went through my email list and I contacted them by phone. And the response by phone with the direct contact, and I know it's for a lot of people doing something like that, it's a little bit scary, sight unseen, cold call, just calling somebody up, and we're talking about major college football coaches coming on a YouTube platform. So to do a sales job there takes something as well. But the response I just had in the last 45 minutes contacting sports information directors who are the liaison to the college football coaches and athletic coaches across the board, the response that I got speaking with them directly versus emailing and waiting for a response and trying to lure them in was tenfold of what it's been in the past.
Now, you know, I think that speaks really directly to the importance of relationships, and also, you know, a lot of people I think phone contact and talking to someone by voice. Everyone's texting all the time or posting on social media or Snapchatting or whatever they're doing. But, you know, again, you besides being able to talk to them directly in the same physical location, the phone call is a missed opportunity lots of times, right? You know, and I think that's a great case study for anybody trying to create relationships and enhance their relationships, and especially in your case where you're trying to get people to come on for an interview or to speak with them in a meeting or whatever. And this can apply to beyond doing video shows or video interviews. It could be you just want to be able to make a connection with somebody. So say if you were interested in coaching, you know, and you're trying to search out coaches, you know, what you did were, you know, we're reaching out by email and maybe by social, but that phone call I think means a lot, where they can hear you, talk with you back and forth, and get a sense of what you're about right away versus going back and forth in text, right?
Yeah, so in talking to these gatekeepers, which are generally the sports information directors, you can imagine how easy it is for any of us to discount an email, delete it, okay, I don't know exactly what this is, or I don't know if this person's credible, and just not wanting to deal with it, even though it could possibly be a benefit. It's much easier to do that than to deal with that, rather than you get a direct phone call and you have to deal with that person. That person's making an offer, they're making a pitch, and then the success rate, as I think I'm experiencing here, is going to go up. And I thought the success rate was fairly high, considering just sending out blind emails.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, you just kind of seal the deal, kind of close the sale, with that, because I don't think, it's funny when I was at ESPN and I would manage people, and you've had the same meetings, Mark, where the question would come, how do I get that promotion? Or better yet, I know in Content Edit, it's they all tend to want to go over to the I forget what they call it now.
Creative services?
Well, no, the group that does the long form editing.
The post group.
The post group,
Edit?
the post production group. Yes, thank you. It's been 2 years, so it's starting to fade away now.
It's starting to fade away.
Oh my goodness!
But it faded away instantly when you walked off campus.
Well, part of it, 90% of it did. But anyways, that's a whole nother show. But anyways, no. But what the question would, at least in Content Edit, would come. How do I get over there? I really want, and that's seen as the kind of the elite edit group, because you're able to work on a project for a whole week. It's long form editing. It's usually those feature stories that they're doing, and the editor has a lot of input with the producer in how the final product turns out, and it's really a good sense of accomplishment from a creative aspect. So they would always ask, how do I get over there, right? So, just what Mark was saying. You can send emails and all, but you're right there. You're literally right in the same campus. And I said, well, you got to get over there and meet the folks over there. Meet who is part of that staff. This also applies not only to the management, who you're going to interview with, and who are going to be the decision makers, but also the staff over there. They could be a really big advocate, and if you get to know them and show interest, that you want to maybe job shadow with them, find out what's going on over there, spend some time over there, get known over there. Because I would always tell people, it's one thing if you have great skills, and Mark, you've been involved in these interviews where you have someone with incredible skills, great experience, but you pick up something in the interview where if they're not going to mesh with the team, or if they have an attitude issue, and you can usually pick this up in the first minute of being, and we've both done enough interviews, we know this, that I would pass on a candidate with a lot of experience over someone with much less, with the attitude where, okay, I'm ready to fit in with this team, where do you need me, and how can I make the team better? And that was always my advice to folks going, it was like, you got to go over there, because your competition, the bar is low. Most people don't do it. And every time someone would, and I had a couple that would, and they were talented editors, and the ones that took me up on that advice always ended up getting over there with the next opening, because they're looking at content. It's a natural progression, but they want to make sure that they're working with people that are going to make their team better. I'm sure you run the same situation.
Yeah, I think the last group that you managed, their Content Edit, if out of the production groups at ESPN, had the higher skill level, the more complex skill level. So I think their demo reel of sorts was gained a little bit more weight than for some other production groups. But by and large, across the board, those production assignments were not difficult to train and to teach. That if you are interviewing somebody who's very bright, who's enthusiastic, who understands that they're going to have to be a team player, work with others, do all the things that you just outlined, give me that person any day. You can teach them to run a camera, run video, run playout, fill in the blank, master control, on down the line. You can teach that in a matter of weeks, and then you've got a quality person on staff, rather than, you got the 20-year veteran, but they come with all this baggage, and you see the resentment or the bitterness from the previous employer, and you can tell that they have a lot of conditions that they need, and they don't necessarily like working with certain types of people, and you can just, as you just mentioned, there's a lot of signs, there's a lot of indicators that you're getting someone that you aren't going to want down the road.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the comments over here on Blab, and Denver I'm sorry, I'm looking at a distance, so I'm not seeing the full name, but he mentioned that he didn't know ESPN started out broadcasting lesser known events, sporting events, then to dominate the sports entertainment market, and that's how they started. And I won't derail this conversation too much at that point, but he raises a very good point, and I think this is a show topic, Mark, for a future show between you and me.
Yep.
And I was on Ross Brand's show on Blab Thursday night, and we were talking. It's funny because going into that show, it was going to be about ESPN and video streaming, but we got in such a great conversation about ESPN and kind of reminiscing about how it started and the history. And it's a fascinating story, and I think that's something that we should plan on doing in a future show because we both have tons of experience there, and we always get questioned about it. And we'll do that on if not next week, we'll do it on a future show to kind of talk about that.
If I'm counting correctly at this point, Marty, we're sitting on about 34 years experience just at ESPN between the two of us.
Yep. And then when we bring Maldani on, I mean, that'll be a reminiscent fest, and he has plenty of stories too, not only ESPN, but certainly Fox, but ESPN stories. And there's some legendary things going on. And we won't get into too many details. Mark, you still work there. I'm a little bit freer to talk about it, but it's still the public stuff is really fascinating. So we'll get into that. But without any further ado, let's get into some of the things we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to go through a couple products here. I'm going to talk a little IoT, or Internet of Things, and we'll also get into a couple of Facebook questions that came in earlier as well. But I think you'll be fascinated. I'm going to look at two products here, and then I'll give you a live demo of a third that's really, really cool. But Nest, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Nest. They were a startup, and they came out with, and let me show you this. I got a box right here. There we are. The Nest Thermostat, which is their original product. I'm going to do a little unboxing here. And what all these products have in common is their IoT, which is Internet of Things. And really what that means is an internet-connected device. So and I must say that these products, just full disclaimer, the legal stuff, these products come from Verizon Wireless, courtesy of Verizon Wireless. They were given to me for free, complimentary. Verizon is not in no way influencing what I'm saying about the products. They are not approving any comments. My opinions are my own. So I just want to get that out of the way that they are coming from Verizon, and we'll have some links for you as well if you want to check these out. But let me do a little unboxing here and show you what this looks like. Let me switch to my close-up camera. But it's kind of neat. I mean, a lot of these products now come like with this Apple-like packaging, where they are sitting right on top. That's the one thing I've noticed here. But it's a rather small device. Looks like this fits in my hand. It's a thermostat. This is an LCD screen. And I think before I go any further, I'm going to show you guys a little video explanation on what this is all about. This is the Nest. This is coming from Nest here. And I'll throw up a link as well. So this will give you a little preview as far as what this device does and how it works.
This thermostat will make you love your thermostat. It's in millions of homes around the world. It's saved billions of kilowatt hours of energy so far. And that's just the beginning. Meet the third generation Nest Learning Thermostat. It has a bigger, sharper screen, and it's even better at learning what you like. Just turn it up or down. It will catch on after a few days and create a personalized schedule for you. That's how the Nest Thermostat saves energy. In real homes with real families, it saved so much energy, it paid for itself. To save even more, just follow the leaf. Nest even turns itself down when you leave the house. And you can control it from anywhere. You can see how much energy you use every day and how to use less. Energy companies all over the world are giving the Nest Thermostat to their customers because they know it saves energy. That's the most beautiful part. The Nest Learning Thermostat programs itself, then pays for itself.
All right, that gives you a little preview as far as what this little device does. And what's cool about it, and I'll go to my close-up, What's cool about it is it's internet connected. So that means it has an app. And the other thing is it's a learning device, as you saw in the video. So what that means is you hook it up, it replaces any standard thermostat. And what that means is it'll actually learn your patterns. So you can actually set up you can set up location. So when you leave the house, it'll actually determine when to turn down the heat or when to adjust the air conditioning. It works with both if you have both, and when to bring it up. So it'll actually anticipate when you're returning home, what your patterns are, when you sleep, that type of thing. You can also control it remotely via your mobile app through anywhere in the world. So say if you're on vacation and you forget to turn down the heat, then you're able to do that remotely very easily through this internet connected device. Same thing if you're coming back and you're trying. Now, for me, I live in the Northeast. So when I'm away from, I don't know about you, Mark, but when I'm away on vacation, I'm turning that heat down to like 55 degrees as long as I don't freeze the pipes. And when I come back, the house is like freezing for an hour until the heat comes up. But imagine with one of these devices that you're able to take care of that before you come home. You're playing lands, and you maybe have a half hour to an hour from the airport to your home, or depending where you live. It's enough time to get the house nice and warm when you come in, but you're not using energy all the while you're gone. So.
Yeah, I'm in the same place when it comes to that. I would love to be able to, an hour to 90 minutes prior to arriving at home, make that adjustment. Then it automatically kicks in, raises the temperature to where it needs to be. And especially for those of us who have typically the female in the household is a little bit more sensitive to those sorts of things. And once the house nice and toasty, I can come in and it's 55 and it's not pleasant, but I can stand the warming up effect and wait and be patient for that. But the female in the household usually wants it nice and toasty when they want it to be nice and toasty, and that would be huge. I would give that thing a pretty serious challenge, though, Marty, considering my schedule. I would love to see if it could catch on to my schedule, which is basically different every day.
I didn't think of that. That's right. You're all over, but at the same time, though, Mark, are you pretty steady? I know it's all over the place, but is it the same time each Monday, each Tuesday, each Wednesday, pretty much, or are you completely off the track?
It's even gotten to the point where it's in every other Sunday, every other Monday, every other Tuesday. So it would have to sync up with my Wednesday and Thursday are stable. My Friday, Saturday, Sunday is kind of all over the place just because I'm off. And then I kick into my work week late Sunday, and my Mondays and Tuesdays are every other week. So I would love to see that challenge.
Man, I need to try to work on getting you one of these things, because I think that would be, I should go back to Verizon and the agency and say, oh, I got this buddy of mine who has this really weird schedule, and if you really want to test the Nest and artificial intelligence and the learning mode of the Nest, he might be your man to really give it a go, But and maybe for you, that would be interesting to see if it could really do it. It's supposed to be able to do it. Now, the interesting thing will be, for you, it's probably the mobile app will probably come in handy, because you can actually adjust it on the fly and not even, if you forgot to turn it down, turn it up, whatever, depending on what your schedule, it really doesn't matter, because you can go on the mobile app and actually make that adjustment.
And I think that's the real luxury right there, Marty, is for all of us who seem to get more and more busy all the time and forget, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, to have that connectivity to what's going on at home, whether it be the temperature in the house or something that you're going to touch upon here in a few minutes. Yeah, that's when people are concerned with safety, they're concerned with time, they're concerned with money, and then this speaks to comfort and money as well eventually in regards to the savings because of the automation component. That's good stuff.
Oh, big time. So let me go on to the next thing. The next thing is, now we talked about thermostat and the benefits of having it internet connected. You can control it while you're out. The learning mode, that's really, really cool. This next device is very, very important, and I will show you guys this. This is the Nest Protect, and this is actually a combination smoke alarm and CO2 monitor, carbon monoxide monitor. And we all know, especially folks that live in a cold climate where they're using heat, that's particularly important. You've heard of instances, it happens in the news almost every winter, that people get in trouble, they get CO2 or carbon monoxide poisoning. And it's colorless, odorless gas, and usually the symptoms are nausea or dizziness, and then you kind of go to sleep, and you kind of suffocate, basically unconscious. So that's never good. And they have other monitors, smoke alarms, and lots of times they're separate devices, but this kind of combines both of them as well. So let me show you what it looks like in the box. Again, the packaging is interesting because it uses the Apple model where it has it right on top there, and it looks like any other smoke alarm. It's fairly compact right here, and it's battery operated. Now I don't have the I'm going to pull the tab. I haven't installed it yet. I will be installing that today, taking advantage of it. I do have a short video to show you guys on what this is all about and kind of give you a better idea of, and this is a internet connected device, and I think the video shows it well as far as the benefits of that, and we'll be right back. Let me show you that quickly now.
Have you ever wondered, is that thing even working? Oh, it just blinked. Red. Is that bad? Should I be worried? Why do we put up with this? Meet Nest Protect. It's designed with advanced technology to sense smoke and carbon monoxide. Can give you an early warning before an alarm.
Heads up, there's smoke in the kitchen.
And if you know everything's okay, you don't have to run around trying to quiet it down. Just hush it from your phone.
Smoke alarm silenced.
Nest Protect tells you where the danger is, so you know what to do and where to go.
Emergency. There's carbon monoxide in the living room. Move to fresh air.
And it can send an alert, so you know what's going on, even if you're not home.
The carbon monoxide alarm is over.
At night, it lights your way and shows you it's tested its batteries and everything's okay, so everyone can sleep safe and sound. Nest Protect. It's time to know more and worry less.
All right, that gives you some idea of what this little device can do. And I think, Mark, again, the theme here is internet connected devices. This connects over your Wi-Fi network and also has a phone app as well. So, combining the two, smoke detector and CO2 detector in one, and even remotely. I mean, you could check in on your device. And what Nest does is it's actually one app that connects all three devices I'm going to show today in one app, and you can monitor this, what's going on in your home. But it kind of follows that theme there. So I think a lot of people, we talk about the smoke detectors, and both are very, very important. Hopefully everyone has one or multiple of each device. But this is just another take on it and kind of getting the whole internet connected thing along with it as well. So, and this I would think would be good for not only people at home, but also people that travel, to keep an eye on what's going on at home. So,
yeah, I guess one of my first questions would be the number that you would need in your house. So most people have a smoke detector on each floor of their home, and if you've got multiple floors, do you need multiple devices?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, I would think it would, the CO2 part of it would be where you're, near your oil burner or your heating burner or boiler. That's going to burn the fuel, either gas or oil. But yeah, I would imagine it would be the same instance where it has a I would think you'd want one on each floor like any other smoke detector. And I believe you can have multiple. So I know with both these, I know with the Nest device, you can have multiple devices, and you can actually name the location that you place these devices. So same thing with this detector. So you can actually, on your app, or you can actually go to a web page, you sign in, you create an account, and you can say the one in the first floor, or the one in the living room, or this, and you can keep track of multiple devices. That's another advantage. Because like you said, Mark, you're normally going to have multiple smoke detectors in any average home, and if you can link them together, I think that would be good. So
yeah, and the stats that I've seen based on home fires is that fortunately, most of the time, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's the majority of times the family or no one's at home, which is a good thing from a safety standpoint of human life. In terms of protecting your property, this fits perfectly, because when that's the case, obviously the fire's not detected until it's most of the time too late, loss of property, loss of home, and you're able to catch it immediately, make those phone calls, get the fire department there.
Oh, absolutely. And we talk about, especially at night, where a fire might get started. Normally it's smoldering like any other smoke detector. You want that early warning to get up and get out of the house, and certainly this is another take on it, where you might have your phone near your bed, I believe this also has a audible alarm as well, like a traditional detector. But again, the difference is it throws in the Internet of Things aspect, the connectivity aspect, and gives you that as well. The third item I'm going to go through here is the video-related item, and it kind of fits the trio of things or items or internet-connected devices from Nest. And let me show you what I have in my hand here. This is the Nest Cam. I already unboxed it. I already installed it as well. And you can see in my hand it's fairly small. This is actually Nest actually bought a company called Dropcam. And this is the original drop cam, and they renamed it Nest Cam. And basically what this is an internet-connected camera, basically a security camera. And before I get into the details, let me show you. I'm gonna show you a video that does a much better job at explaining what this is. And then what I'll do is I'll give you a live demo of the web page and show you what it looks like. I have it right here on my desk, and I have it hooked up, and I'll show you what that looks like live as well. So let me go to this video, and we'll come right back and talk about it.
Did you leave the garage open? Did you let the dog out? Did you put the groceries away? Meet Nest Cam. You can set it up and connect it to Wi-Fi in less than a minute, and see your home in beautiful high-definition video. Use it to solve mysteries, the big ones and the little ones. You'll get an alert if there's motion or sound, and you can talk back.
Henry, bad boy, off.
It lets you see once the lights go out, so you can take care of the things that go bump in the night. And with a Nest Aware subscription, you can even go back in time to save the moments you want to remember. Nest Cam. Keep an eye on what matters to you from anywhere.
All right, that gives you some idea of what that entails. And Mark, again, if you're traveling, I would think that would be a helpful device to have.
Now, see, the first thing that came to mind when I saw the video, so this is the second time I've been able to look at the video. Being a parent of teenagers, the curiosity of leaving the house and knowing what's going on. So this device is probably about 6 to 8 inches tall?
Yeah, let me, I'll go to the close-up here. So you can see my hand here. It's not even that. It's probably 4 inches tall. It's very small. And also, this little thing on the bottom here, there is a mounting bracket in the box, and you can actually mount this to a wall or to a ceiling and have it dangled down. And this is, you can turn this around and everything, and hook this cable right here is for the power. It's an AC power, so it's not battery, so it won't run out of juice. It just hooks up to your it's just an AC power adapter here via USB. The actual video comes to you via Wi-Fi on your network, and then you can either view your video live at any time through your app on your phone or a web page. Now I'm going to show you that live. I'm going to actually show you this operating live. But the other thing that's really cool I discovered today is it also has full sound, so you can actually hear the sound going on in your place of residence or your business or wherever you have this device, and you can actually talk back to it. So there's a million different use cases for it as far as video goes. So if you want to set it up in your front door, you can do that, and you can monitor if anybody comes there, and you can actually see when people come to your door, and you can actually talk back to them and hear them through this device and through your mobile app anywhere in the world. Now this will key off of motion, and it keys off of either motion or sound or both. So it's free to use. It'll actually archive a limited amount of video, and it'll send reminders or actually alerts to your phone or via email when it detects motion or when it detects sound. And you can set up either way you want. There is an optional service that Nest provides for archiving video, and that's completely optional. I think it's like $10 a month, and it might go up a little higher than that depending on the length of archive. So I think you can either archive it for 7 days or a month, and then that gives you time to download the video. You can actually download the video. If you don't do that, then it only saves a limited amount. I forget how long it saves, like an hour. I think it's the capacity of your phone, that you can actually look back and see what's going on. So that could be very helpful, depending on what your security situation is. So let me, Mark, I got a full screen here. Let me switch to my desktop and show you guys what's going on with this. So this is the web page for the Nest, and I'm already logged in, and you'll notice I have it's got a little, let me see if my mouse is working here. There we go. It's got a little thing here. It says home, and that's what I named my Nest home base. It's just home. It gives you the weather since it's location dependent. It's 68 degrees and clear. Then it has this little thing down here, and I have it set, and it might be very small to see, obviously, but this little circle here is me, and I can't zoom in right now, unfortunately, but I'm going to click on this and give you an idea what the video looks like. So I'm going to click on it, and it will open up my video, and it takes a few minutes, and that's me coming from this camera here. So let me show you. So this camera here, right here, okay, is showing, let me switch back, is showing this, and it's just slightly delayed, and it's a very wide angle picture. You can see how messy my studio is, but it's a very wide angle lens, and it has sound, and it has motion detection, and those little dots on the bottom there is when it detects motion. So right now I have it set up in the office, so I'm in here, I'm moving around, so you'll see a lot of little things down here on the bottom of the frame where it says motion here. Now, and you can see, like, if I hover over, it's kind of taking these times when it detects motion, and you can see along the bottom there that it's archiving that, right? The other thing I want to make you aware of is down here on the very bottom. You might not be able to see it where my mouse is, but there's a little microphone icon, and you can actually click on that and talk back to wherever that cam is. So that's kind of cool there too. So that gives you some idea on the Nest Cam. Let me just switch this back so I can get to the comments. But again, the theme here is this internet connectivity, right? So not only can you now, old time security cameras, you would have the local camera and you'd have some type of recording device, and it'd be local. There's no way to access it. Here, it's a very small device, very inexpensive. I know that the drop cam is $200 for the camera, and then obviously extra for the archiving service. The thermostat retails for $250, and the Nest Protect, the combination smoke detector and CO2 detector, is $100 retail. So yeah, some kind of cool devices of what's out there, and I think this is really just the beginning here. And let me throw this up. So if you are interested, again, Verizon provided these devices to me, complimentary. They are not telling me what to say. I'm free, my opinions are my own. But if you are interested, you can certainly go to Verizon.com, search Nest, and they have all the products right there. And if you're a Verizon customer, they have a ton of great accessories there as well. So, but those products are rather cool. So, Mark, that's Internet of Things.
Yeah, well, we're video guys, Marty.
Yes.
So the video camera piqued my interest more than anything.
Yes.
And then the remote access, having the access leaving home to any of these devices is what's really the selling point, I think. And then when it speaks to saving money, and then the comfort addition to the temperature gauge and the thermostat, that I'm going to have to check those out a little bit further. But the videos were very, very compelling. Did a nice warm, fuzzy way of selling the products, definitely.
Exactly. Now I want to go on to these Facebook questions, and if I can find these questions, I'll be happy.
See if I can help you out.
Let me go to these questions here. Let's see, where are my? Oh man, I had them right here. Let's see. Here's the event. Okay, let me see if I can get to them here and the comments. All right. Excellent. Okay. So I did want to address two questions that came up in the Facebook group, and I was going to show them on screen, but of course when I did the screen capture, it didn't really line up with my TriCaster. It wasn't the right dimensions, so I'm just going to read them to you. So the first question that comes to us is from Ross Brand, and he says, I was wondering about the pros and cons of posting the same videos to Vimeo that I'm already posting on YouTube, or clips of those videos. And Mark, I know we've discussed this on various occasions as far as and the way we do our show, we take this approach where we're producing it internally, and then we're choosing where to broadcast it out. Now this is our live show, but also as far as where we're posting it. And let me, I don't know if you have an opinion on this. I'll certainly go to you first, and then I can fill in. And I think I kind of know where you stand with this. But why don't you take a stab at this? How do you feel about this?
In terms of
posting it to multiple locations. So what he's asking is he's already posting his videos to YouTube, and then Vimeo's another service. So the value of also posting the same video to another service, or clips of a video, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at the other question.
Oh, no worries.
Okay. So that question in particular, I think is so there are different audiences on different platforms. Just think about your own consumption of media platforms. There's a zillion out there. Well, you don't consume a zillion. You consume. You've got all the basics. You got the YouTube, the Facebook, and on down the line, Twitter, and so forth. And then it dissipates from there. And then you're talking about live video streaming. So you want to be on as many platforms as you possibly can. And I think that you want to set up a priority list in regards to which ones are most effective for the content that you're providing, that are the most user-friendly and reliable. I think you need to have a list of priorities based on their popularity and based on their usefulness and their reliability and what audiences that they're hitting. And then you want to be on as many platforms as you possibly can get to. But I think you do want to have a priority list in regards to which ones are going to serve your needs the most and the most effectively.
Yeah, I think you say it very well, Mark. I'll kind of echo what you're saying, and really the approach we take with producing this show. I know Stephen Haywood, who's probably in the room. Yes, he is. Again, a lot of what I do is inspired by what Stephen has done for many years, and the approach both of us take is producing our content internally, recording it internally, making sure we have the media, and then deciding on our live shows where to broadcast out. And we're fortunate that we have the setup where I'm currently going literally to 8 different destinations at this point. I was going to 6. I added 2 more, so I'm going 8 destinations, actually 9 if you count Blab. So 9 destinations, and I'm using the drop-in on Blab to get the YouTube link in there, and to take advantage of the comments here as well. And the reason I go to Blab is certainly the most vibrant community as far as the live community, the comments coming in, and I'm seeing the comments there as well. But again, we take the approach where the more the merrier, right? So if you're getting your content out there, and our content's not gated, so we're not selling our content. We're not asking, I might have a different opinion if you are, say you produce a course and you're doing videos and it's like pay-per-view or it's some type of paid product. That would be a different story, because then you're going to go to a different provider that provides that type of hosting where you can gate the product and all that stuff. But if you're doing it either for fun or you're doing it for content marketing purposes, where you really want to get out to as many people as you can, really have people discover you, then the more the merrier, whether it's live and also posting your videos online, after the fact, the recorded videos, and I'll add in, I'll give you another tip, Daily Motion. And this is something I got to do. Right now I broadcast the Daily Motion live, but I haven't really put my recorded videos up there, and I will. And what I've noticed, and it's funny because we go to 8 different platforms, Mark, and what I've seen is, believe it or not, Daily Motion by far is our most popular platform. And I know it's an overlooked platform, and they do live, they do recorded, but I have several people watching our replays, and I consider ourselves brand new with this show. We're 24 weeks in, which to me is in infancy, But we have, and what I noticed the other day is I wasn't signed in just to test it, and I was wondering, why am I getting these viewers? And I think Daily Motion put it on their. I was featured just for a little bit on the front page, and what that's saying is that, again, I've talked about this before on StreamUp. I'm featured regularly. Again, I'm fairly new to this show, but I think that speaks to the need and the thirst for good original content, and that's the opportunity I think we all have as content creators. Is if you can get yourself on these platforms, they want to see you, and there's a lot of competition there. So, it's funny, we talk a lot about Blab, Mark, right? And you've had your issues, and let's just be honest and straight. Is like, they, whatever technical issues they're going through, it's not the only platform. I'm not a believer in being on just one platform, if at all possible. I realize that Blab, provides a nice, easy production platform, and certainly use it for that. But you want to get your content out there as many places as possible, and also own your content as well, because you don't know where your audience is going to come from unless you test it. Like you said, Mark, testing it, I think is an excellent idea. And I think also Ross in his question said, the short little clips are good. You can edit those and put those up as teasers. I think that's an excellent idea. So, anyways, that was a great question. We're going to go on to the next one, because I know we're running short on time. Catherine Lang, who's another member in our group, wrote, or the question was, when posting your podcast on your website, how much of a description do you include? I'm using Blueberry on WordPress, but I didn't know if my post needed to fall under the Google rule of 450, or if they need to just be a couple of sentences. It's a daily show. It's a 22-minute show. I don't know if you want to tackle this, what your experience is. I can certainly fill in on that as well.
Well, I can say that I've written in recent years for a couple of platforms, the last one being Fansided, which is a subsidiary of Sports Illustrated, SI.com. And when I approached them, they first approached me about writing. Then I wanted to supplement the writing with either audio or video. And they wanted written content. They wanted content that at least hit for them. I've heard from that site, and I've heard from another site that I've worked with, Last Word on Sports, that they wanted about at least 250 words to work up the search engines, and that was kind of the key total for at least those two platforms in what they wanted from me. The thing that really bothers me as a content creator, which I'm looking at the quality of the content and what I'm producing versus the gimmicks that need to be used. And when I say gimmicks, I really mean tools that need to be used in driving the search engines. So, for example, I would write articles for Fansided. Saturday Blitz is the name of the site, and I did that last fall. And they would basically take my copy, and even though that they were very pleased with the articles I would write, they really needed to drive that search engine. So they have to kind of gimmick up the article and really throw in those key terms early in the article to drive that, and it doesn't do the best service for the content itself if you've written an article a certain way and then they're wanting to shove as many coaches' names or team names into the first paragraph as possible to drive that search engine.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, they didn't touch the rest of it, so they obviously like what I wrote, but they really gummied up my opening paragraph. But that's kind of part of the game that's played.
Yeah, I mean, I think you raised some good points there. It's sort of like a give and take in a way. You know, we've had off-channel conversations about this. You know, about trying to optimize your titles and your descriptions, and by no means am I or I think I can speak for Mark. SEO experts or search engine optimization experts. I can't even say the word, so how can I be any kind of an expert in it? But I'm certainly no expert. I would say this, in learning what I can up to this point, is a lot of it is common sense in the respect that, the more keywords or descriptive words you can get early on in your title and in your description, the better, without it being like a bunch of hashtags. Like what Mark you're describing is, almost kind of gaming it or overdoing it. It's got to also make sense to the viewer or the reader. But I think you can do that. I mean, you got to pick and choose a little bit. I'll give you an example of like a YouTube title. And this is something I learned just from watching other people, way more experts than me, is when you're doing your YouTube channels or video titles, you want to get the main theme of what your video is about early on in your title. And what I used to do is when I'm doing BTS Live, right? So I used to put BTS Live and then the episode number, like episode 023 dash, and then I would put video production tips from in front and behind the camera. That's our tagline. And then I'd get into what the subject of the video was. Or sometimes I'd run out of space and I couldn't even do it, and I put it in the description. And that's not really helping me. So when you notice, if you go to where I use my YouTube channel, put the recorded videos up, and if you go there, you'll notice when I put the videos up, I'll always start with the main title. So today I think it was Nest and IoT. And so I'll put that in there. So if people are searching for Nest, they're more likely to, my video is more likely to come up, And then I put in video production tips in front and behind the camera, because that's mainly what our show is about. And then I put BTS Live and the episode number at the very end. Because if you're looking for it, you'll see it, right, Mark? I mean, even with podcasts, the same way, like Catherine was mentioning, is that put the episode title, the description up front, and put the kind of the episode number, or if you have an abbreviation or hashtag at the very end. And Mark, we talked about this. I know you're nodding your head. We talked about this, and that's really what Google's going to pick up.
Yeah, that very same thing hit me just a couple of weeks ago with my channel with Macy Golder, the Mark and Macy Show, where I listed all the episodes, Mark and Macy, 11, dash, and then the subjects we discussed. And it hit me just a few weeks ago, well, I want the subject matter that people are looking for to be primary. If they're going to click on our video, they're going to see what YouTube channel that they are accessing. So they're going to see that it's the Mark and Macy Show. So I've changed all of them to New York Giants, New York Yankees, whatever the subject matter, dash, and then included the Mark and Macy Show or Mark and Macy. And I've been fairly effective with the titles on my YouTube channel, and I try to be very descriptive without cluttering it all up. Michigan Wolverines spring practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times, again, not an expert. Mark's not an expert by far, but I think a lot of people tend to overcomplicate it. Remember, Google and the other search engines are working on ways to make sure that the gaming gets out of it. They're constantly changing their algorithm to make sure they're surfacing not only the best content, the most accurate content based on the search that you put in there. So if you're looking for video production tips, or even especially long tail searches where you have more words in the search, they want to surface the best possible, most accurate search results. So it pays to, and stay away from. I've seen this too with YouTube videos where, and you see this, people gaming it, where they'll have a YouTube video on a particular subject and they'll put some weird title in there, link baity title in there to try to get the clicks, and it's like, that's not really serving you anything,
Yeah, they choose the stamp of the video. And sometimes you wonder where they pulled that from, because first of all, it has nothing to do with it. It's something that's going to allure people to the video, number one. Number two, they could be talking about some subject, and then you'll see, a list of 10 or 15 music or rock icons that are listed under their tags to try to draw people in and game up the search engine.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous. Anyways. We're coming to. I want to get a couple of things in. Thank you very much, Ross and Catherine, for your questions. We invite those of you who would like to submit questions. The best way to do it is to go to our Facebook group, and I have the lower third up there with the link. It's facebook.com/groups/BTS Live Show, and everyone's welcome to join. It's a great group over there. A lot of active participants. Many of them are in the room here as well. So if you're not part of the group, certainly get in there, and we'll be happy to take. We're welcome questions, show ideas, anything that. Again, we do this for you guys. We hopefully some of the knowledge we have we can impart, but we want to know what you guys want to know, and we're happy to do that. I do want to call your attention also to our website, btslive.com, our page. It's a single page still, but that is where that's the home base, and we talk a lot about that, where you need to have a home base, right? So that's our home base, btslive.com. We have the live show streaming there, as well as 24/7 replays of our last 5 or 6 shows in rotation, and we posted there. And we have, again, Mark, I think of it as a network that we're building here, and again, my inspiration is from this fella, the techbuzz.net, and I want to give him a plug here too. He really inspires me as far as what we're doing. He's doing similar things. Yeah, he has his network up there. He has multiple shows that he puts up there, and we both take the network approach. He has also Apple TV apps, and he's on Roku, and you can he does a high quality show, and you can have that lean back experience, sort of like a TV, and so I want to certainly give a shout out to Stephen Haywood, the Tech Buzz. I'm going to be on his show, another little side plug, today at 6 p.m. for the weekly roundup. That'll be fun. We kind of look at the week's worth of tech news, and we'll be having some fun with that. I'll also be on the next day, Tuesday, tomorrow. He has a show, Broadcasting Now, all about hardcore broadcasting. And I believe we're going to talk about, and I know he's in the room if he wants to put the comment in there, but we're going to talk about, structuring your show tomorrow night on Broadcast Now. It should be a great discussion. We talked along those same lines before, but we're going to get into a little deeper tomorrow as well. Also, Mark, your YouTube channel, youtube.com, search Mark Rogers TV, and you'll find Mark on YouTube. You got thousands of videos, and mostly about college football. But Mark, you want to talk about the show you do on Blab, as long as it's working?
So we hope to be on Blab this Thursday night. I've had to migrate to Google Hangouts a few times, but on Thursday night at right around 6:45 Eastern Time, it's Mark and Macy, the Mark and Macy Show with Macy Golder, and we have a lot of fun talking up sports and whatever else we dive into, and we've got a growing audience there. So you can also find our videos at Mark and Macy on YouTube. And we have a website, markandmacyshow.webs.com. Join us on Twitter as well. college football fans. I have 2 shows on Wednesday night, ACC Breakdown, which gets posted to my channel and also to InsideTheACC.com, and SEC Breakdown, which also we have a Twitter page if you look up SEC Breakdown.
And again, so search YouTube, Mark Rogers TV. And Mark, I know you are doing some interesting things. You've got some, pokers in the fire, I guess. Different things you're working on, different collaborations. You've been doing this an awful long time. We talk about this, how it's not an overnight thing. I mean, and you have actual professional on-camera experience, and you know how difficult it is to build an audience, to find those people that are interested in your content, and you're starting to break through, because you do great content. But I think you'll probably talk about those as they go. Certainly we'd like to showcase some of those things. So it's starting to happen for you a little bit. You're starting to get some collaborations, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few larger platforms that have contacted me about creating content for them, and so that's exciting. Also collaborating, obviously, with Marty here in this show, building this out to bigger proportions, and hopefully some of my other content and other shows will have a sharper, cleaner look here in the near future.
Absolutely, well said. Well said. Well, I think that puts a cap on it for today. Folks on Blab, I am going to shut this show down. I will, if you want to stand by, I'll be happy to come in there, depending on how much. I guess, Mark, you might have to take off, but you're more than welcome to pop in if you'd like.
All right, I can stick around for about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I can't go more than 10, 15 minutes today, too, because I've got to eat something, and I got to prepare for Stephen's show and get a little work done. But thanks, everyone, for coming, everyone on Blab, for participating in the comments. You guys are fantastic. Everyone watching on the HD feeds, we are here every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, for Behind the Scenes Live. Thank you for joining us. Join our Facebook group, search BTS Live Show. A lot of fun stuff going on there. And Mark, I guess we will see you next week.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Sounds good. See you guys next week.